Hello students, for today's math lesson, you will need a piece of paper and a pencil. If you have your math journal, you can use that. On slide 2, I need you to listen and watch the lesson, and whenever you are asked questions, you are to answer the questions on your piece of paper. When the lesson is over, you will take a picture of your work and upload it to Google Classroom. You will then also complete the exit ticket that is on Google Classroom. We are going to be talking about data set properties. We will find the median, mode, mean, and range from a set of numbers. Mode, mean, and median are three kinds of averages. When you have a set of numbers, the first thing you want to do is order them from least to greatest. So as you can see, if you were given a random set of numbers that are mixed up, the first thing you need to do is put them in order from least to greatest. We are going to start with mode because it is the easiest. It's quick, it's easy. I have been told the number that occurs most is called the mode. Here is our set of numbers: 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 9. As you can see, they are in order from least to greatest. The mode is the number that is repeated more often than any other. So in this case, 9 is going to be the mode because that's the number we see more than once. We see it more than any of the other numbers. So now you're going to practice. You are going to find the mode for each set of these numbers. So you can pause the video, write out these set of numbers on your notebook paper, and then find the mode for each. When you are finished, you can unpause the video so you can see the answers on the next slide. So let's review. In this first set of numbers, the mode is 6 because, as you can see, there are 3 6s and all the other numbers listed are only listed one time. So the mode is 6. In the second example, the mode, the number we see the most, is 1. And in the last example, this one might have been a little tricky, there is no mode because each number is only listed one time. So there can be one mode, there can be no mode, or there can also be more than one mode, which we haven't seen an example of that yet. Moving on to median. From least to greatest, the numbers are lined. The median is the middle number we must find. So median, another word for median is middle. You're trying to find the middle number. So again, numbers have to be listed in order from least to greatest. And I'm going to use the little drawing tool, and this strategy is the same strategy I want you to use when you go and practice on the next slide. So what you want to do to make sure you find the middle is cross off the smallest, cross off the biggest, cross off the smallest number, cross off the next biggest number. You're working your way to the middle. So as you can see, I have 3 cross marks on the left side, 3 cross marks on the right side. It has to be even. The middle is 6. So 6 is the median. On the next slide, this is your practice. So pause the video, go to your notebook paper, write out these sets of numbers, use the same strategy I just showed you to find the median for each of these sets of numbers. Okay, let's see how you did. I will get my writing tool again. For the first set, the median was 6. Cross off the smallest, cross off the biggest. Next smallest, next biggest. Next smallest, next biggest. 3 cross marks on the left, 3 cross marks on the right. 6 is in the middle. For the next example, cross off the smallest, cross off the biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest. 2 is the median. In the last example, cross off 2, cross off 8. Cross off smallest, cross off biggest. Smallest, biggest, 3 cross marks over here, 3 over here. The median is 5. Now, it can be a little bit more tricky. What if there are two numbers in the middle? Let's see. So if we have this set of numbers, and I use the same strategy, cross off smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest. I have to stop here because if I were to cross off the 6, I would then have 4 cross marks over here and only 3 on the right side. And that has to be even. So it gets down to 2 middle numbers, but you can't have 2 medians. You can only have 1 middle number. So there's 2 ways you can do this. A lot of you are going to see that if it's 6 and 7, a lot of you already know that 6.5 is in the middle. So we would say 6.5 is the median. Some of you might have to use the strategy that's listed here. So the median numbers are 6 and 7, so you can find the average of those two numbers. You can simply add 6 and 7, which is 13, and then you can divide by 2 because you added two numbers together, and that will also give you 6.5 as the median. So I want you to now try the next 3 examples on your paper. Let's see how you did. I will use the tool to show you. So for the first set, if I cross off the smallest, cross off the biggest, smallest, biggest, smallest, biggest. So right now I have 3 and 3. So if you see, both the numbers in the middle are 6. It's the same number. So therefore, the median is just 6. For the second example, I'm going to use the same strategy. And it gets down to 2 and 3 in the middle. So right in the middle of 2 and 3 is going to be 2.5 or 2.5. So the median is 2.5. You could have also added, like the previous slide said, 2 plus 3 is 5. And then if you were to take 5 and divide by 2, because you added 2 numbers, that is going to come out to 2.5. And in the last example, if I use the strategy, it is going to get me to 5 and 6 as the 2 middle numbers, and in the middle of 5 and 6 is 5.5. So the median is 5.5. Moving on to mean, again, okay, so out of mode, median, mean, and range, mean is going to be the one that takes the longest to calculate. And so this is what you need to do. You add up all the numbers given to you in the data set, and then you divide. So there's 2 steps: add, divide. So let me go through this example. If this is our set of numbers, the mean is the usual average. So step 1, I'm going to add 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 9 plus 9. That gives us a sum of 42. Now, if I count the numbers in the data set, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that means I need to take my sum and divide by 7. 42 divided by 7 is 6. So 6 is the mean or the average of this data set. I want you to try with these 2 sets of numbers on your notebook paper. Let's see how you did. In the first example, if we find the sum first, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, that gives us a total of 18. There are 9 numbers that we added together. 18 divided by 9 is 2. Therefore, the mean is 2. In the second example, if we added all the numbers, it gave us a sum of 35. There are 7 numbers in this data set, so 35 divided by 7 is 5, so the mean is 5. Now, sometimes your answer is not going to come out as a whole number, so you will have a decimal answer. So let's see what that looks like. If I take these numbers and add them up, it gives us a sum of 52. There are 8 numbers total that I added together, and so when I do the division, it comes out to 6.5. That is okay. The mean can be a decimal, so the mean is 6.5. I want you to try an example on this slide. Okay, so when you added the numbers, you should have gotten 22. Again, there were 8 numbers in this data set. When we do the division, 22 divided by 8 comes out to 2.75. Moving on to range. From least to greatest, you should arrange, then subtract least from greatest to find the range. So just like mode, range tends to be pretty easy for students to find. It is even easier if your numbers are in order from least to greatest, because then all you do is look at the first number in your list, the last number in your list, and subtract them. So since 9 is the biggest number, 2 is the smallest number, we are going to find the difference, which means subtract. Therefore, 7 is our range. And then you can try the next 3 examples on this slide. Let's see how you did. In the first example, 8 is the biggest number. 3 is the smallest number. You subtract them. 8 minus 3 equals 5. In the second example, 1 is the smallest, 4 is the biggest, 4 minus 1 is 3, so the range is 3. And in the last example, 2 is the smallest, 8 is the biggest. When you subtract, the biggest number has to go first. 8 minus 2 is 6, so the range is 6. So that completes the mini lesson for today. What I need you to do now is on Google Classroom, in the math assignment, there is an exit ticket posted. When you open it, it will open up a Google form. You have 1 chance to take it, so please do your best. Have a piece of paper next to you so you have some scratch paper to work on, and then you will turn that in and it will immediately give your results. Thank you, students.